What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Rojo. I'm here with Flacco, Convict's Perspective,
Yee.
and we got the big homie Sundown again. And today, what we wanted to touch on, man, was Mr. Crackers and the split of Fresno from the main conglomerate. So, being Mr. Sundown was there, I'd like to hear his opinion and some facts and not speculation on why it happened and what Crackers was all about. We hear he's a hitter, and I think Sundown can confirm that. And yeah, we'll take it from there, man. What do you know about the old Bulldog split, man?
Well, Crackers got he got screwed over, you know, by the NF. They screwed him over, and so Crackers started pulling the Fresno car away. You know, Crackers pulled them away, and they weren't. It happened in San Quentin is where it started happening, and they weren't called the Bulldogs back then. They were called the F-14ers. You know, they called themselves the F-14ers, and
Why was that?
I don't know if F-14ers. They went with that. You know,
Okay.
so what happened was they were told to stop kicking it with crackers. The Fresno guys, stop kicking it with crackers and fall in line. And they said, "Well, we're not going to do that. No, crackers is the homeboy, and we're not going to do that." So I went to one day to the yard and up there in East Block, and they thought they were going to make an example. The NF thought they were going to make an example of one of the F-14ers, the Fresno boys. But they were all together. You know, they knew it was coming. You know what I mean? And so it was like a little riot up there. You know, there was quite a bit of Fresno kids there, by the way. That day, there were quite a bit of Fresno guys, and they held their own. The shotguns were being fired all over the place, and this is what actually stopped the shotguns from being used. One of the guys on the yard that day died from a pellet in his throat from the shotguns. So that's where the shotguns got stopped.
So we'll get something more lethal
Yeah,
instead
yeah.
of
So
that freak.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
makes
they went to
sense.
the Mini 14, which I would turn out to be the first one shot with it. Right? So anyway, that happened. They went out to the yard. They got busy. Everybody got busy, and that was it. They split them. Now they start calling themselves the F-14ers. They decided to ride with Crackers, and so Crackers had the F-14ers. Not that he wanted anybody, but he kind of like inherited them, and so that's what they called themselves, the F-14ers. That was before they became the Bulldogs. Uh, Fast forward to the '80s, and all of a sudden I'm hearing about something called the Bulldogs, and the reason why they were called the Bulldogs is because of the college there in Fresno. They got a football and basketball team called the Fresno Bulldogs, so they started going with that, They started calling themselves the Bulldogs, and but it all started with Crackers, you know. It was behind loyalty to Crackers.
So it is your opinion though that it was more the NF's fault than Crackers' fault, whatever situation
Yeah,
transpired.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole it was Anna's fault. Yeah, they blew that one up. The Vindiolas they messed them all over. And that was all mishandled, man. That was mishandled bad. You know, and so that was a well respected family in Fresno. You know, and so a lot of the people from Fresno they ran with the Vindiolas. And then other families from Fresno started breaking off too, the Venegases and them like that. So that's how the Bulldog came about.
Is Crackers as vicious as been claimed throughout history? Was he with the business like a lot of people say?
Crackers was vicious. Crackers could throw them hands. Crackers could put a knife in his hand, and Crackers was deadly.
He was the real deal.
Yeah, he was the real deal. That was my boy.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what we've heard.
yeah, that was my boy, man. And for all the work that he put in, he shouldn't have got treated the way he got treated. You
How'd they
know,
treat him actually? How'd that all occur?
they demoted him. And then they eventually they kind of forced him out. You know, and that shouldn't have happened. Never should have happened.
Did they force him out with violence or just kind of
No,
ostracize him?
ostracized him, and then later on it started becoming violent. try to hit him. Actually, they did send this youngster out to. They gave him some hacksaw blades to cut his bars. Crackers was a tier tender. Crackers would get drunk and he would holler up to the NF2. He'd talk crap to him, and clown him right while he's drunk. So they had a undercover down on the tier there where Crackers was, and Crackers was sweeping tier. So they sent him some hacksaw blades, and he cut the bar to a cell, right, so he could get out and get Crackers. So they sent him a piece, and he cut the bar, and he got out, and he went and he stabbed Crackers. And he stabbed Crackers really good, got him in the kidney anyway. But Crackers had this kid, and they were screaming, "Vendiola, put the piece down, Vendiola, stop, we got him, and Crackers just, Crackers was like, told that kid, I forget what he said to him, something about, because my cell was right there, he said something about, you ain't no gangster, you know what I mean, and he looks
yeah,
up.
I heard. They said next time don't send a boy to do a man's job or something like that.
Yeah, he said, and he got the kid's own knife that he just stabbed Crackers with against the kid's throat. And the poor kid was scared to death, right? Like, yeah, you poked the bear, you know what I mean? Now the bear's got the knife, right? And all the police yelling for Crackers to put the knife down, and Crackers looks up and he says, "You owe me one," And he tells the kid, "You ain't no gangster." And he throws the knife like that, and the police come in and like that, right? They take him to the hospital, and they almost killed that Cracker, almost killed him. If he hadn't gotten to the hospital, you know what I mean, they were able to fix him up because like 4 days later, Crackers was out on the tier. He wanted to go back to work, so he could go out there and talk crap to him. Those Crackers, he would talk crap to you in a minute.
So there's your answer. Crackers was with the business, just like legend has it.
Yeah, Crackers was all that. All the Vendiolas, though. I never knew a Vendiola that wasn't vicious.
It was in their DNA. Huh?
Spokio, Indio.
Oh, Shadow and Indio and Herman.
They were all brothers or
Yeah,
cousins?
they're all brothers.
Brothers.
Yeah. Even the sisters were bad. Not too bad that Herman and his sister got killed together, but but they were bad. The Vendiolas was one of those families, like I said before, there are families that have respect because of the family,
Hey, so right now in the federal system, where Tibbs and Skip and Corny are, Pinky, the Bulldogs are allowed to choose whether they want to function with the fellas, by themselves, or with the Southsiders, essentially, or the MA, whatever. Do you think it's possible, man, with the right amount of time and the right things going down, that eventually they could be brought back into the Northern Alliance? Or do you think there's too much? Because in the state, there's no love. The end of hostilities that happened, I'm sure you're aware of what's going on. It doesn't apply to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I know.
So, what do you think with all that history and everything? Do you think it could ever happen? Do you think it's generations
I think
away?
the Bulldogs are so many. There's so many Bulldogs. You'd be shocked how many people are Bulldogs.
Yeah,
right?
Fresno's huge.
Yeah, it's not just Fresno. It's all the surrounding towns and stuff. But they don't have no leadership. They don't have no real organization. If somebody was going to take over them guys, man, they'd have a potential. But yeah, do I think it's possible for them to make peace? Yeah, I think it's possible. Fresno's like just looking for a home. You know what I mean? They seem to always get into it with everybody they're with. But
they hold their own too.
Yeah, they will fight. They will fight.
They
will fight.
You can't take nothing away. I
No.
mean, a lot of people try to compare them to these new booty gangs, like the Northern Riders and the Deuce Fivers.
No.
It's like it's not the
different.
same. Yeah.
No, Fresno Bulldogs will get busy.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, they run together. They stick together, and I got nothing against the Fresno Bulldogs. I mean, I've been with a lot of them. There's so many of them, man. There's so many of them. I'm telling you, if somebody organized them, he'd have them an army. But they don't know how to organize.
Well, that's what they thrive on, is their independence and their ability to do what they wish for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have some kind of basic understanding.
Well, when they're
of conduct, but
when they're in the pen, like they'll have like a structure of whoever runs a block. You know what I mean? And this block, this guy will run this block, this guy will run this block, this guy will run this block. But that's about it. I mean, there isn't no one-shot caller, no military structure, nothing like that. You know what I mean? I'd like to, because you're right. You know, they want their independence. They don't want a shot caller. I guess is except for in the block. There has to be somebody has to be their spokesman with the other groups and stuff like that.
Right.
Be responsible for them and stuff like that. Make decisions. Pretty much for as a whole, they all get together and make their decisions.
Yeah, the reason I brought that up because if you would have told me back in the '90s when I was stuck in Pelican Bay Shoe that the North and the South would be on the yard playing handball together, spreading, tattooing on one another, exchanging substances, selling amongst each other, I would have told you were crazy. So that's why I'm saying it's possible that they could come
Yeah,
down with the right set of circumstances and the right amount of time.
Anything is possible. Yeah. But you know what? You have to have a common enemy.
Yep.
And I think that that's one of the things that adds to the North-South thing is that they can have an enemy. So maybe Fresno's playing that role right now that we have a common enemy. And it's one of those cases. Your enemy's my enemy. So that keeps the peace. If they're all trying to be peaceful together, that's not going to happen. You can't have a bunch of knuckleheads together.
Yeah. Flacco brought up another group, man, that a lot of people aren't familiar with. That was very short-lived. What did they call that?
Siete.
Los Siete. That was a group that came out of San Francisco. It was a political thing. These youngsters, they got into some stuff with the police on the streets. They became a political group. What was it, over in Haight-Ashbury, or was it, no, the Hunters Point? Anyway, they were a political group, and they got famous. They got a little bit of notoriety about themselves and stuff like that. And BB, who would go to prison, would become NF, which is who you had asked me about, was trying to organize his own clique. He wanted to get out because he was going to get out pretty soon. And he was trying to steal NF members, soldiers, and take them out and form his own organized crime group on the streets, using a political shield. He was going to use the politics because he had learned that, hey, man, this political thing is pretty cool, and then have hitters, you needed to have hitters. And he talked to me. A friend of mine told me to talk to him, and so I said, I'll meet with him. I talked to him. And when he finished telling me everything, trying to recruit me, I told him, dude, listen, out of respect, you and me never had this conversation. And I'll never repeat this conversation to anybody else. But you need to be careful about who you're talking to, all right? And it ended up getting him killed, So, Los Siete was a little political action group that started in San Francisco over squabbles with the police. They call police brutality. And an incident happened on the street. I can't remember too clearly about what incident it was, but these 7 guys got arrested, and they were going to court, and they became a little, cause that people were behind. Free Los Siete. Defend Los Siete. So they were called Los Siete. Like I said, BB came out of Los Siete.
Very interesting for sure, man. Yeah. So anything? We got a poster back here, Sundown's book, man. So
Thief
that's
on
what
the
it
Cross.
looks like. Thief on the Cross. It's available on.
It's available on iTunes, Google, Barnes and Noble, Kindle, Amazon. But for the articles and the pictures, it's best to go with the iTunes and the Kindle and stuff like that. Because for whatever reason, the book quality is just not that great for the articles and for the pictures and stuff. When you can see them, but it's not as good as on the other things. They come out a lot clearer.
Yeah. So for you guys who are curious about the history of the the organization back in the days and some crazy stories and life from his eyes as he's seen it, as he witnessed it, he was there for it. Got to check out the book, man, for sure.
His truth.
Yeah, no doubt, 100%.
Yeah, I didn't. It's not just it's like I said, I was telling my story, but I couldn't tell my story without telling the story of Northrop on Beach, because I spent 33 years inside this stuff. You know what I mean? So how do you tell your life story when most of your life is spent in this stuff?
Yeah, no doubt. That's anybody who's been in that organization. That's got to be a predominant part of their story. Because there's so much influence by the things you learn and things you do with that group.
Yeah.
That stick with you for life. The education you learn in that group, it sticks with you for life, whether you're locked up and doing it to your dying day, or whether you're on the streets, or whether you walk away. Those are lessons you don't forget.
The friends you make.
Yeah, no doubt.
The friends you make, and the ghosts.
Yeah, to this day, I don't got nothing bad to say about anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you got to be able to carry the ghosts. You'll have ghosts. You got to deal with that. And then your friends. The friends that you made and the friends that you knew. It's always like you have a feeling like it's a job left undone. You know what I mean? Never finished it. One of the regrets is, should I go back and finish it? Nah. I did mine. I did mine.
Yeah, no doubt you did. Yeah, we know that. It's verified. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, man. I heard about them pieces you had to tape to your legs, and your hairs got stuck on them, and it hurt when you had to take them off, man.
Oh, it hurt like hell. How about the one I had taped to my penis? Oh my God.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. I heard some stories, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah.
Was there before we end this segment? Was there any other groups that tried to be created at that time? You guys had to shut down.
Yeah, there was a lot of groups that tried to start up. But they didn't last long. Like I said, the California Brotherhood, was one. And I don't even know where that guy Michael Thompson came up with that stuff at. But did he ever make the AB?
Supposedly,
they say he was in the Aryan Brotherhood.
They say he was, yeah.
Wow.
I first seen him on like Gangland or National Geographic or something in Pelican Bay telling his story, and I was like, it seems believable. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have no reason to doubt him. I don't know him. I wasn't there. I can't.
I was there, and there was never no incident where no white guy chased off 7 Mexicans. So I never heard no.
You were there at that time. That's the thing.
Yeah, I was right there. And it's crazy.
I tried to play his story in my head, and it just wouldn't play. You know what I mean? I tried
to
throwing
people off tiers and stuff.
Jumping off like Superman coming around.
Yeah. And one person I saw do that was, I know that did that jumped down off the tier like Superman was Belucas.
Belucas is still around.
Yeah, Belucas he's dedicated. He's loyal.
It's a trip. Death Row Joe's supposedly still alive somewhere too.
Yeah.
I can't get it confirmed 100%, but I think that old man's still around somewhere.
I don't know.
I'm surprised he's still in prison. Yeah.
Is he still in prison?
Yeah.
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 They don't list him on any kind of site. You go on the board of prison and try to find him. You can go on. I
wonder what kind of original murder beef he had.
Well, he's responsible for most.
Didn't he have like a 3-digit A number? Wasn't it like A243 or something like that, man? It was.
Yeah, but when he turned, he ratted. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, don't you get credit for that? Yeah.
Yeah.
There were a lot of little groups that tried to start up, but they always got quieted down by either the AB would shut them down, or the Mexican Mafia would shut them down, or the NF would shut them down. If you weren't part of those 4, like the Vagos and stuff like that, all the little bike groups and stuff like that, Hell's Angels, all these other groups, but if you weren't part of them 4, don't go trying to start a social club in a penitentiary.
Which one do you think lasted the longest out of the outsiders that tried to start something? Is there anybody you could say tried?
Yeah.
Like and gave it a good effort,
Well, Vanguard.
How about the Texas Syndicate?
Texas Syndicate, they're still going.
Right, yeah, they're in Texas.
Yeah,
they're losing the hold on Texas now.
Yeah, they're still going. Texas Syndicate was our ally. Texas Syndicate, man, they made some vicious kills. There in Quentin, they came up with the fiberglass pieces. You know, see, Texas Syndicate. That was not very many that lasted, man. You know, like the California Brotherhood didn't last. If one group or another was going to shut it down. You know,
Was there a New White, something called New White family?
There was I don't know about the White family. It was the New Flowers.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the heck happened to them. You know, it's like all these different things you hear about springing up, like the Night Riders, or what are they, the Night Riders?
Northern Riders.
Northern Riders.
Northern Riders.
Night Riders.
That's great, bro. That's amazing.
That's the best one right
Oh,
there.
man, that's awesome.
I don't know. It's like, there's only going to be those four, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
And there ain't no room.
No.
You want to think you're going to go start something, and you better get approval from them four. Why would you want to?
Well, all right, you two, man. That'll wrap it up, man. We're about to go live here in a minute, so appreciate it, man. We really appreciate Sundown taking time out of his day to chat with you guys, and let you know his story and his perspective, his experience. And we'll be back at you in just a minute.
Did you hear the one about?
We'll be back at you guys in just a minute with the live. Peace.